extremely well this evening. Now tonight I've got some more scary encounters from Reddit for you. And at the end of this video, I will give you a little update on a story that I shared a few weeks back. I don't know if you've watched the video or if you remember, but I shared a personal experience with you guys of a girl who has the same first name, last name, date of birth and sister's name as me, and I've also got a little update on that. But with that being said, and without further ado, let's get into tonight's stories, shall we? So, the first story that I'm going to be telling you tonight was originally posted by a Reddit user called Wardenstays_child. Their story is called The Help Me Lady. Several years ago, I, a female, lived in a pretty nice 2-bedroom apartment that was above the veterinary clinic that I managed. There were 3 apartments above the clinic, and mine was in the middle. It had a 3rd bedroom, but that was technically my office, and it connected to the clinic via a crazy little spiral staircase. I could also go out my heavy steel front door, turn right, and go down a set of stairs around the back of the building to the back door of the clinic. The clinic itself was set back from the main road in a small neighborhood, but the main road was the main road from the interstate to the university campus. So that road was heavily traveled. We were also within walking distance of the proudly converted rails-to-trail system in our state. The location gave a sense of quiet and security that really wasn't there, long story short. So I lived alone, but I knew the neighbors well, and I wasn't concerned about security because my boss was a type A personality and everything was alarmed. Motion sensors, motion lights, steel doors, the works. I also had, and still have, my 60-pound Australian Shepherd who lives to serve. He takes it upon himself to patrol the house at night, going from my bedroom to the front door, to the front windows and back. I can tell him, watch the house or watch the car, and then just leave him alone, and he will literally stand guard was scrolling to see my dog on high alert in his chair, muzzle pointed at the road and ears up. Then I heard a woman. "Help me," came from the direction of the rear of the clinic. Like I said, there's a set of stairs there that goes to the back door. It's a very secluded area that backs up to another apartment building. The voice that I hear is weak, and I'm worried that someone maybe fell back there and needs my help. My brain is suddenly going through all of the scenarios. I grab my phone and some shoes and plan on going through the clinic instead of outside, so I can look out the back peephole in case this isn't legit. As I am getting my shoes on, my dog lets out this hair-raising, low, rumbling growl. Very quiet, but very terrifying. I didn't know he was capable of such a noise. I had never heard him make such a noise. So I stop what I'm doing and I look up. Through the window, I see a frizzy-haired, older woman just standing there in front of my porch. Again, she says, "Help me," a little bit stronger this time. My dog growled again, louder this time. I was about to call him down and address the woman, but she suddenly whipped around and yelled, "You shut up," at him. After that, she went straight back to the weak "help me" cry. She must have realized that a dog at an open window meant that someone was home. So she lingered in front of my apartment, staring at the front window. I immediately dialed the local cops and went to my back bedroom to talk to them so that she wouldn't hear me. Not that I thought she could get inside, but I didn't want her to try. The police were there in moments and found the lady at the front door of the clinic trying to get in. They told me later that she wasn't hurt physically, but she was possibly mentally ill. We have a very large population of homeless and transients in this area due to the lack of care facilities. After they removed her, I went and double-checked everything outside, dog in tow, of course. There was nothing amiss, thankfully, and he got many treats when we got back inside. I'm not sure I slept that night, but I for sure didn't leave the windows open overnight anymore. That was such a terrifying story. Honestly, the girl who posted this is so lucky to have such a good dog. I think we can all agree here that the Australian Shepherd is the hero of the story. If he hadn't picked up on that lady standing outside, who knows what would have happened? I mean, when the police came, she was trying to get in. She may be mentally ill, but I mean, you don't know what they're gonna do when they actually do get in. I mean, shouting, "Help me," to try and lure somebody outside, pretending that you're hurt, pretending that you need help. something suspicious like that at night, with the windows open and you're all on your own. I used to live in an apartment building in an area that was riddled with students. It was a really, really warm apartment, and I would also have the windows open at night in summertime and sometimes even in springtime. And there was this really weird thing that would happen at night, where I would sit in the living room and I would suddenly hear somebody do a peacock impression very loudly. Honestly, it scared me, but after a while, as ridiculous as it sounds, I got used to it and I was just like, oh, there's the peacock guy. I never actually saw him, but I know it wasn't a real peacock because it was a very, very bad peacock impression. Still scary though. Alright, moving on to the second story of this evening. This one was originally posted by a Reddit user called Leah_3829. Their story is called Creepy Phone Call. Today, while I was on lunch break from work, I received a strange phone call from a number that I did not recognize. I picked up, and on the other end of the phone, the person was mocking me. They were mocking me, saying something I have only called my dad to tell about 4 years ago. I had gotten into an accident once and I called my dad sobbing, saying, I just got into an accident, they hit me. This person said the same exact words in Spanish, just like I had when I called my father. Now the person on the phone, they sounded like they were fake crying. I could not tell if it was a man or a woman, but I am freaking the fuck out. As they kept repeating themselves, saying the same thing over and over and over again. At one point, I even giggled and I said, oh my god, you sound just like me. Who is this? Now when I said this, they hung up. I called back immediately and they didn't pick up. I called from my co-worker's number and nothing. And then, hours later, I called from my friend's number and still nothing. I even put the number on Cash App to see if any name came up, but nothing. I honestly don't know what to make of this. I don't know if I'm scared because this could be a warning that something might happen. I don't know if I'm scared because someone might be watching me. I don't know why I'm so freaked out, but can someone please help me make sense of this? It also says, before you ask, it was not a prank from any of my friends or even from my parents or family. this Redditor reminds me of a horror film that I saw a few years ago. It's a film called One Missed Call, I think, and the characters in the film receive voice mails or voice messages from themselves in the future. Like, they will receive it from like an unknown number, and when they listen to it, they can hear themselves in danger, right? And these would be like premonitions of how they died. Those messages would also be dated in the future. So I can't remember if the film was any good, I'm gonna be honest with you. But this reminded me so much of that, and it must be so creepy. Especially because the original poster tried to find out who the number belongs to, and it just comes back with nothing. They even tried the trick from Catfish, the TV show, to put the number into Cash App. I don't know if there's any Catfish fans in my audience, but you know, it was a good idea, but it's kind of eerie that nothing comes up. Kind of like suggests that maybe somebody used a burner phone to phone them. Like, this is such a wild story, and I just sincerely hope that it was just somebody playing a prank on this Redditor, and that it's not something more eerie. Alright, the next story is from an anonymous Redditor, but their story is called Sleeping in My Car at 3 a.m. I often van life / car camp, and sometimes I will stop and sleep at rest stops, which, you know, seems logical to me. Unfortunately, this one in Bumfuck, North Dakota, was less than ideal. Instead of parking in the back with a bunch of trucks, I chose to park into a spot directly under a camera and a light. It was only mere feet from the now closed entrance to the quick shop / restroom area. It's completely empty, in the middle of nowhere. The road's iced up on me, and there wasn't another option presenting itself that would have been any better. As a light sleeper, I wake up to see a guy pull into the nearest gas station pump. The front end of his car is facing me. He's maybe 30 yards away, but I start wiggling out of my sleeping bag, looking for my glasses. I pull up navigation, getting ready to quickly and surreptitiously get the hell out. Why, you ask? I know cars. I know that for his make and model, he pulled up to the pump on the opposite side of his gas tank, and this guy was fidgeting around at the pump like nothing was wrong, like he was about to pump some gas. All of a sudden, 4 other adults get out of the car. They take just a few steps towards my car, facing me, clearly looking at me. You guys, I bolted. I burnt rubber. And this story is just so wild. First of all, it is really, really lucky that the Redditor who posted this is a very light sleeper. They got so lucky that they noticed that car pull up so that they could escape in time, because you don't know what would have happened if they hadn't woken up. I also wonder what these guys wanted in that car. I mean, if they just wanted to rob the original poster, then surely they wouldn't have chased them for miles in the car. Like, that is weird to me. Like, what did they want? Why did they chase them for miles? You know, it also gives the original poster the opportunity to phone the police while they are having this chase. It just seems strange to me if all they wanted was to rob the original poster. I feel like this is so crazy that this could be in a film. This could be the plot to a film. I mean, sometimes you see videos and posts on social media about people living van life, and I am always so jealous. They just live wherever they want. The world is their backyard. But then, I guess the flip side of the coin is that, and especially if you do it on your own, is that obviously with the world being full of creeps and sickos and weirdos, you are more exposed to that, and you are more at risk of, getting robbed or possibly something worse. Now, I'm glad that the person who posted this got away and they are safe. I'm glad that quite clearly they have very good instincts and they trust their gut and they don't take chances, and I'm just glad that nothing more serious happened that night. Okay, so now, before I go, I want to give you all an update on the story that I shared with you guys a few weeks ago. So, as you know, if you've watched that video, there has been incidents that have happened to me with this girl who I don't personally know, but she's got the same first name as me. That's not weird. She's got the same last name as me as well, which also, it happens. But she's also got the same date of birth as me. And I'm not just talking like day and month, no, day, month, year. Like, it is exactly the same. She was born on exactly the same day as me. Now, that's not all, no, because she's also got a sister, and her sister has the exact same name as my sister. Right? Crazy, I know. If you want to know the full story, go back and watch that video. Now, I had posted this story on a Reddit group called Glitch in the Matrix, and when I posted it, loads of comments came in of people being concerned that this might be identity theft. Now, I wasn't so sure because this has been going on was getting reminders of this bill. And I don't want a bailiff to show up, which is quite understandable. I don't want a bailiff to show up for a bill that I haven't paid, that wasn't even mine to begin with. So, a couple of weeks ago, I made an appointment at the local police to get this checked, because I wanted to make sure that this wasn't a case of identity theft. So I got there and I explained the situation to this policeman who was sat at the desk, at the front desk. And I explained this to him, and to my surprise, he was really, really helpful. So the first thing he did was look me up in the system and see if there was anyone else in the system with the same first and last name and the same date of birth. So he types this in and I can see his face change, like he gets this smile on his face and he's like, right, there's two of you. And I was like, oh, so, she's legit. And he looked in the system and he said, I've got one here for this address, which was mine. And then there's another one with a different address. Now, I actually know what her address is because of this bill that I got, and I phoned the insurance company of, where the bill came from, and they actually confirmed her address with me. So he said, I've got another one on a different address, and I asked him, is it this address? And he said yes. He really couldn't believe what he was seeing, so he shouted one of his co-workers, and he was like, hey, come have a look at this. And then I was like, that's not everything. I mean, her sister also has the same name as my sister. So then he asked what my sister's name was, and he also looked it up, and it was all true. This girl is real. This girl is legit. She legitimately has the same name as me, first and last. She was legitimately born on the same day, and she's legitimately got an older sister with the same name as my older sister. Now, these people from the police, they couldn't believe this. They were laughing, they were shouting